Hello everyone. Hi. How you doing? It's nice to see you. We're just letting some viewers come on in. That's awesome. Thanks for joining in, guys. It's a Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern, maybe earlier or later, depending on your time zone, but I appreciate you joining in. We're all back to work now, so it's not as easy to join in, so don't worry if you're not able to watch the show all the way. We will be saving it and reposting it, so then you guys can watch again later when you're laying in bed and playing with your phone. Anyways, this month is really special, and I want to thank you guys for all being here because we are celebrating I Love Ink anniversary, and it's a huge milestone for us. Why? Because it's been 2 years, and at this point, this is when you really know how your pigments perform, and it's because of all the feedback that I've gotten from you guys that gives me a lot of inspiration. And it's hard. It's really hard to keep going and keep developing and keep coming out with tips and tricks for you guys, but you guys are my inspiration. You give me your struggles, your challenges, so then I'm able to answer them. Me and my team are able to make videos and content for you guys that really addresses your real life concerns. We're just not about pretty before and after pictures. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's the anniversary. I want to talk to you a little bit about how I Love Ink started and what our show is about today. So I have a really special guest. It is Anne-Marie Rubino from Perma Blend, who makes my inks. A few years ago, no one had heard about Perma Blend, didn't know what they were about, and what I want to do is show you more about the people behind Perma Blend, especially Anne-Marie, her brother Lou. And there's actually a huge team over there. They also have the brands World Famous and Kurosumi. Maybe you've heard of these brands. They're very famous and popular in tattoo ink. So I'm going to be bringing her on soon to get her to join in live with me. But I'm just going to have a little chat with you here before I bring her on. She's got some really cool things to share. There's also a little box along the bottom that you can type your questions into, and I'll try to get to them. Me and Anne-Marie will pick a few questions that we can answer for you. But you know, we'll probably answer them at the end, because as we kind of discuss, questions will be naturally answered. And I also have my teammates that are in the background that will answer questions for you as you type them. Okay, guys? So don't worry if you can't stay the whole time. We'll replay the show, and also try to stay tuned to the end, because we actually have a huge prize that's donated by Perma Blend for you guys to win. So can't wait to share that with you. So let me bring Anne-Marie on. I'm gonna say hello. She's gonna join in any minute. Ooh. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Happy second anniversary. How exciting.
I know, it's really exciting.
Can you believe that we got to the 2-year mark with that?
I'm not surprised at all.
I can't believe how fast the time went. That's what surprises me.
Yeah, what is really pleasant and surprising is now at the 2-year anniversary, what people are doing is they're seeing their clients now for what we call touch-ups. They're telling their clients, come for your annual boost and your touch-up. They're seeing their clients, they're taking their pictures and going, oh my God, right. This is amazing. This still looks amazing. Mm-hmm. So this show is about Perma Blend, we want to hear from you guys how you make this ink so amazing. What makes I Love Ink unique from all the other colors you have? If you could fill us in on that. And let's start from the beginning, Anne-Marie. I know a lot of people have heard of you, know about Perma Blend, know about Lou, but we want to know about how you guys got started and what was it like growing up making inks?
So I don't know that everybody knows, but my dad was an old-time tattoo artist. Our dad was an old-time tattoo artist. And so as we were young kids sitting in the tattoo shop, he had one tattoo shop on Long Island at the time. And we would sit there, my brother, my sister, and myself, sit on this little couch in the tattoo studio. My mom was the receptionist. My dad was tattooing from morning till night. And I guess, that was our life. That's all we knew. But as I got older and I became sort of embarrassed that my dad was a tattoo artist, Lou got passionate about tattooing. So he just, I guess being brought up in the industry, he just found a passion that he knew that he wasn't going to sit in a tattoo chair, and he had told my dad that at one point. And so when he got involved in the studio, they went from one shop to 7 shops to a supply business to an ink manufacturing business. So when my dad was training my brother in the early years, they were making ink in the back of the studio, and that was the beginning of the ink making part for my brother. And I guess he just knew that he could do it. He's always innovating and he's always creating and pushing the boundaries, right? So I think that one shop was just never going to do it for him. And so as the years progressed, there were many shops, and then there was the ink manufacturing. And then at one point, Jackie, Lou, and I opened a Medi Spa in New York. And this is where we learned permanent makeup. We started the Medi Spa with tattoo removal. We had the tattoo shop right next door to the Medi Spa. So we did tattoos in one shop and tattoo removals in the other, right next door. And so we brought in permanent makeup and medical esthetician and all that kind of stuff. But when we started learning permanent makeup and then using the products that were on the market already, we would just see what was coming back, right? And then I would go and get trained by whoever was training at the time and come back with all this information. And my brother would say, I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding why your colors are changing. What's going on? And he knew that there was a place for him to do.
Did he try to get you to use his inks or, whatever inks you guys were developing? Or you were listening to him?
Tina, you know that story. So he would say, here, you have to use this. This is how it has to be done. And I would say, Lou, you just don't know permanent makeup. Like, you just don't know. I'm learning from all the masters. You just don't know. And he would say, I'm telling you, please trust me, listen to me. And of course, he's my brother. So we would kind of go back and forth. And he tells a story that, even my sister didn't trust me because I knew that what they were teaching wasn't the way it needed to be, right? I knew that it could be better. And so he created Perma Blend. He and Jackie created Perma Blend. And it was just years of ink manufacturing, years of understanding what artists needed, and then us having that Medi Spa and doing permanent makeup and seeing the nuances and the intricacies of what was actually happening, what did it look like going in, what did it look like coming back, the healing process, all of that. And so his knowledge, 30 plus years, he was able to create Perma Blend. And I remember giving colors to some of the artists, and I know you got it from an artist, and you were the first brave one, right, to say, yes, I'm going to try this.
Taboo. It was so taboo. Like, there was rumors like, oh, if you use body ink, your clients you might not get insured, or it's dangerous. Right. And this was the kind of information that was passed along, and some of the brainwashing that we just really weren't aware of. It was just passed down and down, just like you received the information.
Yeah.
And of course, you're always listening to your instructor or your trainer.
Right.
And
Right.
But then it's like I couldn't take it anymore. I literally had hundreds of cases of red, purple, blue, gray eyebrows. And I was just at a point where I knew I couldn't keep going that way. I had people walking around with these salmon colored eyebrows. I was so embarrassed. Like, these women trusted me with their face, and they're paying me good money, and there was nothing wrong with the shape. It was the color. So I'm like, I have to find a solution. And I was so lucky that I had a friend that introduced me to world famous. Her name is Rhonda Vacante. We all know her. We call her the godmother of permanent makeup. Or, like, at least that's what we call her in our smaller circles. You know, she's of another generation. You know, artists that have been tattooing for 20 years, and she's so generous with sharing our knowledge. And because we had been around so long, we were like ready to do anything. She had hundreds of cases of green eyebrows, and she was literally like on the verge of like nervous breakdown. People would come in and she'd be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Laser, saline, green eyebrows. This is killing my business. It's killing my reputation. And we all know that as a permanent makeup artist, as a professional, all you have is your reputation. So I was so desperate. I turned to a few different brands of body ink, and they were very quick to say, hey, we don't support permanent makeup. Not around the face, not around the eyes. We want nothing to do with it. And it wasn't until Rhonda said, hey, try this world famous stuff. I saw it at a show. My other friend has been using it, her friend Nancy, and she says it's really good. I'm like, really? She's been using it for years and she never told us? I can't believe she's been keeping this to herself. But again, it was like taboo.
It was taboo.
Yeah, it was very, very taboo. Even to you, it was taboo.
Yes, yes. Well, because we were getting trained by all the same trainers.
Yes.
Right? We were listening to all the same information.
And it was very expensive. Like the other inks were like 30, 40 more dollars.
Oh,
very small, half ounce, which is okay because, you know, we do charge enough to make up for that. Not a problem. But what I loved about Lou and your company was you guys were very receptive to using it. Obviously, Perma Blend was already around. And me and a few other artists started using some of the colors kind of really down low. We didn't want to say, hey, we're using this. And what if it doesn't turn out? They're going to be like, you told us to use this. It turned weird colors again, you know? So we're really using it behind the scenes. And I grilled Lou. I had so many questions for him. I literally sound like you probably to your own brother. Like, how do you make this? Why don't the colors change? And tell me the percentages and all this like really scientific stuff. And he's like, look, just use it. It's in people's bodies all day. Looks amazing. Artists are trusting it to do sleeves, permanent stuff, not just like eyebrow stuff that fades away. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm so desperate. I need a solution. And can you make a line for me? I tested it first for a while. And then because I had tried other lines, I knew that if the line wasn't basically warm enough, it would go gray in the skin. Did you notice that with your own experience with permanent makeup? Like it can turn kind of grayish?
Well, when we first started, of course, like every other artist, we were trying different brands, right? And so different brands were reacting different ways. So we were sort of learning how to work around all of the way it would come back. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there was this thing for a while that never existed before called modifying. Okay, so in permanent makeup inks, for the longest time, pigments, there was no modifying. But then for a while, then there was all this modifying that we had to mix them and put colors in. And it was very, very stressful for the artists. And then the artists were always blamed for color changes because, oh, maybe you over modified it. Maybe you didn't have a right technique. And what I loved about Perma Blend and Lou, you guys were really willing to work with me to develop the line in a way that it was very to what my specification was.
Right.
You guys trusted me. I trusted you guys. And we tested it in skin for a long time, for a good year. I needed to see 1 year, because the 1 year mark is when you start to see the change. 1.5 year big changes typically in permanent makeup line. So can you tell me, what is it about the ingredients, the formulation, that keeps the colors so stable?
Yeah. So I think first is pigment quality, right? So when making World Famous or making Perma Blend, one of the most important things that we can do is buy a high quality pigment. And there are different qualities of pigment, different companies that sell different qualities of pigment.
So is that pigment powder, like raw pigment powder?
Yep. So my brother knew that he wanted whatever the best was, that's what he was going to be using. Pigment load is something that I think it was the issue with other companies before in PMU. I think pigment load and light fastness were two issues that we as Perma Blend conquered, because we used higher pigment load. We looked at light fastness numbers so that when formulations were created, as the colors aged, they were aging true to color, right? So one color, because light fastness numbers are similar, and because pigment load is so high, then as it's aging, the colors are fading at a similar rate, right? We're never going to get it to fade exactly the same, but it's close enough that in 2 years, in 3 years, when your client comes back, you're seeing the same color, just a lighter version of what it was, right?
Yes. And just like a body tattoo, if someone gets, let's say, a dragon with all these multiple colors, one day it's a black and blue and turquoise dragon. 2 years later, it's not going to become a orange dragon.
Right.
So you guys have the same principle for your body inks, just transferred it over, and that high quality ingredients over to permanent makeup inks, correct?
Correct. And so even though World Famous is the body ink part and Perma Blend is the permanent makeup part, we still want a fade factor in Perma Blend, right? We don't want to be putting World Famous on somebody's brows that are going to, I had a girl at a show once do blue brows. She decided she wanted to do blue brows, and she used World Famous. And I was thinking, oh my God, like, this is
going to be there forever.
Forever. Like, why would you do that? But so pigment load for Perma Blend is slightly less than pigment load for World Famous, right? Because we want to keep in a fade factor. Formulation's a little bit different, but we want to keep in that fade factor. But the quality, the light fastness, the pigment load is still higher than other brands on the market, and I think that's what sets us apart. Aside from pricing, right? That was a big issue.
Pricing is so reasonable too. You guys have a great product at a great price that people feel very comfortable with.
Yeah, and you can try different colors. You're not paying so much for one color. You can try a bunch of different colors. But getting back to your brand, your set, your collaboration, I think when you created that, when you wanted to have that pre-modified, those pre-modified colors, it was brilliant, right? It was going to make the artist's job easier. They didn't have to worry so much about the skin undertone and the color that they were using, right? On choosing the right pigment for the right client. You have this great chart. I'll show it to you. If you don't have it out, I'll show it. And so you made it very easy for the artists to come in, buy this set, look at the chart, understand the colors, and know that they were already warmed up. They were already pre-modified. So there was less chance of any kind of mistake. So I think that, that was just a brilliant idea. I think it was well thought out. You were really thinking about the artist, and it fit right into the integrity and the character of Perma Blend, right? We are artist driven. Right. Yes. My brother's always listening to the artist, always wanting to understand what their needs are. And so you sort of just fit right into the fold of what the integrity of the company was.
Yeah, and you guys have so many artist lines because, again, you guys are trusting the artists that know how to lead and guide what's new.
Right. Well, my brother being an artist, and me having done, learned and done permanent makeup, it helps us to understand what the artists are saying, what they're needing, and being able to move everything forward, right? Move the industry forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. Can you talk to us a bit about safety? Can we feel safe that the clients are not going to have any issues down the road? How do you guys test the pigments?
Yeah. So one of the things we follow is the EU regulations. So we are really above and ahead of what EU regulations are. So if we hear that something is being looked at that might be dangerous, we will look at it in the line, remove it like Red 210. It's not a color that's banned, but it's a color they're talking about. So we figured, why not just remove it? Why wait until it's actually banned? Let's just be proactive, right? And begin to remove it from the line so that we keep everybody safe. That 210 has been used in the industry for 100 years. There's no evidence ever that 210 has caused an issue, or any other tattooing for that matter. But we are always wanting to be above reproach and stay above the standard. It's one of the reasons that we became ISO 13485 certified, because we wanted to be able to be accountable at every step along the way of manufacturing. And so it was really important for us to do that as a company, so that we are accountable, right? We don't want to not have regulations. We don't want to not have rules. And it's one of the reasons I think sometimes artists get frustrated with us, because we're always changing, but we're changing because of regulations, right? To keep everybody safe. And so we try to make that transition as easy as possible. And we do the best we can with that. But we get our colors tested by the Chemical Technologies Lab in Germany. And so they will, anytime we're going to use a new pigment or we have a new color, we send it to them. They test for all the heavy metals. They test for anything that is not supposed to be in there. And if it's a go, we use it. If it's not a go, we don't use it. There are many colors that we've tried and seen and loved that we haven't been able to use because they're just not safe.
Yeah, guys, and if you guys need to see those documents, they're called CTL certificates. You can go to Perma Blend or Tina Davies' website, and you can just download those documents if you really want to have a read through it and understand it. Even visit the site. You can actually go to the site, in the search bar, type Perma Blend, and then you'll see the documents right there for yourself too. You can see all the colors and the testing, so that really gives you peace of mind, especially if your clients may be interested or asking about it.
Right. And I always tell artists, if their clients come in and they have allergies, let them look at the SDS sheets, let them look at the ingredients, take that ingredient list to your doctor. We're very transparent. We want to be as transparent as possible so that everybody stays safe.
Yeah, absolutely. This has in the what we call the bottle colors. It causes some variance in the bottle colors. I'm holding up right now dark brown and blonde. They're obviously different, but people will have like an older bottle of dark brown, and then they get a new bottle of dark brown, or let's say your other colors in Perma Blend. They're very concerned. They don't know what to do or how to understand the variance. Can you explain that to us and show us how to do like some drawdown so we can do it at home ourselves?
Sure. So sometimes the variations in color come from the pigment batches themselves, and we're allowed a very small percentage of variation from batch to batch in pigments. But when we're using some reds as opposed to other reds, sometimes the bottles get stained, and so when you're looking at the bottle, the color might look different, but if you do the actual drawdown with those two bottles, you'll see that the drawdown will look more similar than different, right? It'll look the same. It won't look as different as the bottles are looking. So don't get scared about the bottles. Really look at the ink inside the bottle, do the drawdown, and then you'll be able to see that it's more similar than different. But I have a couple of things I want to show you guys that I thought might be interesting. And let me know, Tina, if you can see this clearly.
Oh, yeah. Really good.
Okay. So these are the reds. Some of the reds, we use most of these. I don't know. We're not using 210 anymore, right? But we don't use 122. But I wanted to show you the difference in an organic color, which is bright, and an inorganic, which is the iron oxides, which are very dull, right? So still reds, but very different in what the color is going to turn out to be.
What is that black bar?
The black bar shows us, and I'm going to show you that too. It shows us the transparency or the opaqueness of a color, but I'm going to show you that in a separate sheet. So these are some yellows, but look at that iron oxide yellow. Look at how dull it is compared to these yellows. Now, yellow 65 we're not using anymore. We're actually using yellow 97. And yeah, this is one of the things that I wanted, and I don't know, can you see any variation?
Yeah, I can see that really good.
Okay, but the variation is one of these, this side, I drew down the color and I didn't draw it down with a lot of pressure, okay? And so when I look at it, it looks a little bit more orange than this side. And it, for me,
yeah, so like how hard you press, right?
Right. And so on this side, I went and I did the drawdown with the pressure that I'm supposed to. So when people are doing their drawdowns, it's really important that you understand that when you're doing the drawdown, you want to apply the same pressure if you're comparing colors, right? Because I can do a drawdown like I did here with mallard, okay? And on one side, little pressure, on the other side, a lot of pressure. Now, with this little bit of pressure, I'm seeing a lot more black in here than I am on this side, okay? This is the same color from the same bottle, right? So depending on, so make sure when you're doing your drawdowns, you're just applying the same pressure for both the colors that you're using. So
let me just back up a little bit right here. So guys, just to explain to you, when you see a color concentrated like this, okay, in a bottle, we call that the mass tone. Mass means a lot. Like you look at a, for example, a nail polish bottle. You pick the pink in a bottle, you're like, oh, I like that. Then you put it on your nail and you're like, wow, this color is so light. It's too light. I need something brighter or more opaque. And we call that the drawdown. Okay, so your mass tone is what you see in bottle, and your drawdown is what you see in when it's sheer. And also, when you put it into the skin, you're obviously not putting this much concentrated color into, you're not putting 10 layers of color into the skin. You're just skimming and you're dusting the color. So when you see a color in the bottle, don't get freaked out, because what you actually put in is a fraction of that.
Exactly.
And that's why you want to do the drawdown so you can see it for your own eyes. Compare, let's say, an older batch against a newer batch, draw down, you go, oh, actually, it's all kind of like a light brown. Okay?
Right. So just to speak to your point here, right? So if you go to permablend.com, you can see our drawdowns, but this is what Tina's referring to here is the mass tone, right? This is what it will look like in the bottle. As we draw down, we get to the mid-tone. And mid-tone is generally what it's going to heal like, right? It's going to heal somewhere in here. And then we get to the base tone. So you can see if you're saying, okay, what client do I need to use this for? You can see what the base tone is going to look like. So if I compare my two drawdowns, you can see one is very red base, one is very yellow base, right? So I think it's important for artists to do their own drawdowns. I think it's the only way. I'll show you how we did it, but I think it's really important for artists to do their own drawdowns to learn the line. It's the only way you're going to learn your colors is to do your own drawdowns. So let me show you how we do a drawdown here. So I'm going to show you, this is one that we did. I wanted to show you the opacity and the transparency of a color. So I used Latte and I used Passion Red. And I used Passion Red because it's just pure pigment, okay? There's not anything else in it. It's just red. So look at how the black line is you can see that black line. The color is very transparent, as opposed to Latte that has some titanium dioxide in it. It makes it more opaque. It makes it less see-through, right? So it's important just to see for yourself, okay, am I going to use this Passion Red, and do I want a real solid lip? Well, you're going to get more of a transparent application on this, where when you use something that has some titanium in it, you'll get a more solid lip color, right? So let me show you what this looks like on the sheet and how my pressure is for this drawdown. And if you're comparing colors, just make sure that you're using the same amount of drops, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you're comparing another bottle, you need to use the same amount of drops. Otherwise, you're not going to have the same outcome. So my pressure, I just use this little spatula thing, and I hold the top of the paper, and I just press down as hard as I can, and I just draw it down. I bring it back up, because when I bring it back up, it's showing me the mass tone. And then I get to, right, it's the little blob at the bottom. And I get to see how opaque this is here. So that's one way to do a drawdown. The other way we do drawdowns is like this, same color. And I usually dip my little Q-tip in some water, and then I look at my mass tone and I just bring it down all the way through my base tone. So it gives me an idea of what my mass tone, my mid tone, and then my base tone is going to look like. And again, I think that every artist should be doing their own renderings of this. I think it's really important. Let me just show you this quick if we have time.
Can you hold that up to the screen a little bit so we can see what you did there?
Yeah.
What was the net result? Oh, cool. Okay. And what color is that again?
This is Latte.
Latte. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really pretty color. But here's that color. Okay, I'm going to put a drop of Latte. I'm going to put a drop of Passion.
And that's like on a transparent plastic.
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up. I'm just going to smush it around as much as I can. And you guys can use gloves. I'm in ink all day, so I'm just used to. But if you look at these two colors, the Passion is much easier to see through than is the Latte. It's more opaque. It has the white in it. It's going to be a more solid color. Can you see that on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's going to look more like a lipstick versus a lip gloss.
Exactly. So, different techniques will call for different colors. And if the artist knows their line, then that's going to be an easy choice to make. I can bring that back up. It's going to be an easy choice to make for the artist. So
well, that's cool. We just got a little lesson from Anne-Marie here. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I love playing with the colors and mixing the colors. And, people ask us all the time, can they mix the Tina Davies line with the Perma Blend line? If you know color and you know color theory and your skin undertone and you know what you're doing, there's not a reason that the colors, there's no formulation reason that the colors can't be mixed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, guys, you can mix the Perma Blend colors with each other, but keep it Perma Blend within Perma Blend.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Never mix lines.
Mm-hmm. We've got a question here that keeps popping up. What kind of paper is that?
Which paper?
The white paper with the black line.
Our chemist gives it to us, and he uses it for the drawdowns. But it's I can give you the company name if that helps.
Yeah.
It's Leneta Company, and they're in New Jersey. So you can order it through them, or you can get creative too and use some construction paper or something and put just a line of black.
Absolutely. So we've got a few minutes left here. Let's take some questions, okay? And then we'll talk about the giveaway.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. There's a little box here. If you want to put your question in here, that would be really nice. All right. Let me see. Can you use these pigments for microblading and machine work?
The Tina Davies line?
Mm-hmm. You want to answer?
Yeah, of course. Yes, the line can be, both Perma Blend and Tina Davies can be used for both microblading and for machine work. Initially, when Perma Blend first came out, it was a little more fluid than other lines. And so bladers were not sure how to use it. But if I tell you honest truth, in in a year and a half, we have not had any microbladers say that the formulation is too fluid. They just love the retention and the outcome, and they've gotten used to using a more fluid line.
Yeah, you get used to it, guys.
Yeah.
You really do. Let's see. We have some more questions here. How do you keep the label name from wiping off?
Yes. Question we get all the time. We are working on better labels, guys. I promise. We're trying to get better labels that won't wipe off. Us PMU artists are constantly cleaning our bottles, right? We are such clean freaks, and we, give me the alcohol, give me the microbial wipes, let me clean this bottle. So a lot of times the important information that you need for your health inspector will come off. So usually I'll just stick a piece of tape around it. And
guys, just take a clear tape and wrap it right around here. Then you can wipe as much as you want.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie, can you show us how to close the bottles?
Yeah, so we are also working on a second generation of lids. And so the minute you open your bottle and you try to close it from the top, you've probably misaligned it. So please, when you first get your bottles, it says right here, press down, and there's a little flat piece here. And if you just press down there, it will click right in. But you have to do it from the first time.
Okay, guys, so what that is, after you open it, use your thumb, push it forward like that. Not here.
Right.
Here. Okay, if you keep doing it on the top, you'll get frustrated. Share with everybody, please, guys. Educate everybody else how to do this. I know this is a huge question. All right, Anne-Marie, I'm sorry, we only have a few minutes left. Can you tell us about the big giveaway that you're planning?
Yes. So we have a giveaway on our Instagram, and we're giving away over $1,200 worth of pigment for you guys.
Woo!
So there are 2 people that will be able to one complete set of the brow colors. So make sure you go to Instagram, and then somebody else will get the entire Tina Davies collection, which includes not just this brow set, but also the sun set, and then the 2, the Lust and the Envy, beautiful lip kits. So if you guys have not seen these, I'm sure that you have, because everybody's seen them, but they're absolutely beautiful. You did a great job, and they come with the pencil and then the lip gloss that you can try on before you do the procedure. So you're giving your clients a real experience here, and you're going to love the colors. They're absolutely beautiful. So $1,200 worth of giveaway, and somebody gets the whole entire set, and then 2 people can get the brow sets.
So you guys, to enter, go to Perma Blend. So that's at Perma Blend, correct?
Is that what it is?
Perma Blend pigments.
Perma Blend pigments, yeah.
Sorry. When I type it just comes up. I don't even type the whole thing anymore.
Exactly.
So at Perma Blend Pigments, enter. It's random. Enter a lot. You can get these totally free. We love hosting contests for you guys because, hey, who doesn't like free stuff?
Seriously.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being here, guys. What's really cool is that we have support on Perma Blend side and Tina Davies side. We're here for you, and make sure you go onto our Instagram, read our website, go to our blog post so we can educate you and inform you, and that way you can be an amazing artist.
Yeah, and just a quick note, both Tina and I are here for support for artists. This is a crazy time in life right now, right? We're in the middle of this pandemic, and artists are transforming, right? Some are transforming, some good things, some bad things, but just know that as companies, we really want to support you as artists. So we're sending our love, and we're sending our support, and hope everybody the best.
The future is bright, guys. Stick with us, and you're going to have clients for life. Anne-Marie, what's one last thing that you can say for the artists now? What's the future look like?
Well, new artists coming in are lucky dogs for sure, because they get to work with a brand like this and not have to go through the struggles that we all went through. And I think that the industry has just evolved so much that, you know, we were figuring things out, right? When we were up and right? When we were learning and growing and coming in. And now things are kind of figured out. And so the future is bright for PMU artists. It's a great time to be doing this profession.
Yeah, and know that we've got your back. Whatever you want to do, areola, lips, eyeliner, mix all the colors. It's just art, guys. There's no wrong way to do art. Okay.
I think it's like the tattoo artists years ago, right? Were doing basic stuff, but now if you look at a tattoo artist, their art is so evolved. It's literally art.
They look like pictures.
It looks like a picture, exactly. And I think PMU is coming that way, right? We've gone from very basic to now these beautiful liners and lips that people are doing. So we've come a long way.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Thanks for joining us. And thank you for the great little gifts.
Yeah.
Big
congratulations to you. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us, guys.